Now, as we continue on the case of DJ Sumbody, we now shift our focus back to the allegations that were brought to the fore by General Nhlanhla Mkwanazi, specifically on Katiso Molefe. Now, on the day of the explosive media briefing by General Mkwanazi, he had mentioned that when Katiso Molefe was being arrested at his home by a specialist team for the murder of the engineer Armand Swart, he made a phone call to retired Hawks head Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya. It was then revealed that General Lebeya dispatched a team to the home of Katiso Molefe. The Hawks were met by the specialist team, which included 10 officers from the KZN Political Killings task team. Now, Katiso Molefe is now a man who is of greater interest to the public, not only for the allegations of the murder of Armand Swart, but also, of course, Armand Swart being connected to the Transnet tender, but now also for the murder of DJ Sumbody as well. Now, this afternoon, we've invited General Godfrey Lebeya to share with us what was or has been his relationship with Katiso Molefe, a man alleged to be the main actor behind a criminal nexus of drug cartels and tenders. Why would Katiso call the head of the Hawks and the head dispatch a team? Well, the General joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon, General. Thank you very much for joining us on the program to shed more light on these developments. So let's start with just clarity here. Did indeed Mr. Katiso Molefe call you to say there are members of a task team that are about to effect an arrest and arrest him, and then you dispatched a team there?
Let me put it in this way. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for this opportunity. I would like to clarify it in this fashion. On the 6th of December 2024, we were at Deep Endeberg there in Pretoria for our annual award ceremony of the DPCI. That is when I received a call from somebody else that at some stage we might mention the name, but at this stage I will not mention the name. This individual said that there are people at a house of somebody else who is his friend, and these people claim that they are members of the Hawks, and they have been sent by me to go to that particular address. So that surprised me. Then I had to check with the Divisional Commissioner for National Priority Offences in the DPCI, because if there is a team that have got to go and do operation, he will know. And he didn't know about that operation. Then because it is in Sandton, in Gauteng, I checked with the provincial head of the DPCI in Gauteng, or do you know about these people who claim to be coming from the Hawks, who are supposed to be conducting an operation in Sandton? He did not know. And the explanation of the nature of the vehicles that were said to be at the scene created suspicion. You will appreciate that there have been several people who have been pretending to be members of the Hawks, which we have arrested some of them, including police officials from crime intelligence who were pretending to be members of the Hawks. You shall also recall that somebody has recently been arrested who pretended to be me. And several individuals have been circulating telephone numbers, approaching people using my photos, pretending to be me. So that's why I had to direct the operatives to say that send the members from the TOMS Tactical Operation Management section of the Hawks to visit that address and see who are the people who are saying that they have been sent by me, when I have sent nobody to go and conduct an operation in Sandton. Mm-hmm. Indeed, on the arrival of the members, they confirmed that in fact these people who are there at the particular address are members of the South African Police Service. And that obviously sorted this concern that we had that individual might be pretending to be members of the Hawks when they are not.
Mm-hmm. So that just is for clarity there,
I sent dispatch the members.
Okay, so just for clarity there, you were unable to ascertain as to which team is the special investigative team that is effecting this arrest at that specific house of Katiso Molefe at the time. Perhaps for clarity as well, it might be necessary to know who made the phone call, because I'm sure you've seen, with this matter now having been blown and everybody debating the role of police officers in enabling crime, it seems that people were of the view that Katiso Molefe had access to the head of the Hawks. Perhaps they had a friendship, and he was a person that would have been able to dial the number of the Hawks head when there were police officers about to arrest him, and then the Hawks head sent a team there to possibly intimidate the other team. And for ordinary citizens, for them, they feel deeply aggrieved that they would call 10-111 and hardly sometimes they would get the police answering. So the clarity is sought now as to who was the individual, if perhaps it's not Katiso, the middleman who would have had access to the head of the Hawks to say, establish for me who's about to arrest my friend. You believe it's not time to reveal that name?
Yes, I haven't consulted with the person to check as to whether he is ready to be mentioned in public platform. I believe that if the situation reach a stage where the commission of inquiry is set up, that individual will be able to come forward. For I know the name, I will be able to divulge that. But obviously that Katiso Molefe does not know me. He has never met me. I don't know. My telephone is available to members of the public. And those that get access to it from time to time will be making calls. But here we have got a person who was complaining that there are people who pretend, who says that they have been sent by the Hawks, and it was not the Hawks who have sent them. That's why we have got to go and check. We can't sit back and then thereafter, when they are victims, they say, but the Hawks were informed. So there was nothing wrong that the Hawks have done. They have gone there, not to go and interfere, to go and ensure that the people who are there are legitimate, they are doing legal work. If they are suspects, obviously they were going to effect arrest, like they have done with other people who pretended to be members of the Hawks.
Did you raise perhaps your concerns around how they announced themselves at the house of Katiso Molefe, because that's what would have created the confusion? Did you get clarity from them? Because maybe the individual that called you would have lied and said they announced their arrival saying they've been sent by Mr. Lebeya when they were not. So did you get clarity from the special investigative team as to why, gentlemen, you wouldn't have announced your arrival at the property and indicated that you are a specialist team not sent by me? Because now I have also dispatched members of the Hawks, and now you've got a standoff. Everybody draws out guns. There's two teams within the law enforcement. So did you perhaps speak to them about that why would you not be forthright and indicate which team you are from?
The individuals that were there indicated that they have never said that they come from the Hawks. So that is when my members were there interacting with the one in charge of the operation, they indicated that they have never said that they are coming from the Hawks.
So the middleman lied, possibly lied in this instance, to perhaps get you to somewhat intervene then? Because it means there was a little bit of mischief, if we are to believe...
I'm not sure who's lying, whether it is that individual or is the members who were there who did not identify themselves properly.
Because those members are part of the force and they effected an arrest. The gentleman is currently standing trial for the murder of Armand Swart, an engineer, and now is linked to DJ Sumbody. So perhaps maybe in this instance, your members of the force might have been telling the truth, but we don't know, especially because right now we don't have the identity of the individual who had called you. Do you have any relationship with the individual in any way?
It's a source that from time to time they will be providing the information. The person who phoned is not a Molefe. He didn't have a link with me. The person who phoned indicated it appears that they might be friends. But obviously, indeed, the members that we have sent there are legitimate members of the DPCI who obviously have got to ensure that law is observed, and we can't allow individuals who are there that the people feel that they are victimized under our name. We sit back and do nothing. So we did not send the members to go and disrupt. We sent the members to go and enforce the law. That if there is anyone who's pretending to be a member of the Hawks, when we did not send anybody, we need to deal with that person.
So what did you make, though, of at least how it was communicated in the briefing by General Nhlanhla Mkwanazi? Because it seemed to allude to some sort of a syndicate that is enabled by police officers, that perhaps there was an element to try and intimidate those who were from that specific task team meant to effect an arrest, that it was almost to indicate to them that this is a powerful man who knows a lot of people, and with one phone call, another division within law enforcement can also arrive at that home. What do you make of just the way it was communicated then? Because it seemed as though there were agencies within law enforcement that were here either enabling crime or looking to intimidate another grouping.
Yeah, I think that obviously one have got to be understanding how operations worked. I will take it that the information did not come directly to him. It shall have been informed by those who had the information. When we get this kind of information, we analyze, and before we publicly conclude that this is the case, that information needs to be verified. Nobody on a higher level engaged me to check precisely what has been the developments. From where I was sitting, we receive on a daily basis several information, and we treat it as information that need to be protected. So I saw nothing wrong that we had to ensure that if there is somebody who is making a call, we need to dispatch the people to go and check precisely what is happening. And when they have found that, no, it is a genuine, legitimate police operation, then they allowed the process to take its course.
Lieutenant General, our country seems to be at an ethical and governance T-junction, where perhaps through the national dialogue we're hearing of, the nation will choose a path for a better society. Crime is at the top of the issues. And citizens, I'm sure you've seen on social media, everywhere across the country, are becoming so dejected at the thought that possibly the enablers of crime could be some within the force who must be protecting us. What do you believe needs to happen? Because on your own admission, you've said there have been instances where law enforcement officers have been arrested for being part of criminal activities, for impersonating or at least going into effect operations that were bogus. There have been kidnappings where some police officers were part and parcel of this. What needs to happen?
Yeah, I think that the state president shall have pronounced that he need to put a commission in place. I think if the constitutional court challenges that are currently pending are dealt with, we might see the commission taking place. One is just hoping that that commission, the terms of reference, might want to go a little bit backwards so that we go and see what are the challenges. History will tell you how I have been treated in the organization from 2009. You shall understand how we tried to deal with the challenges in crime intelligence. There are several issues that have not been attended to. Some of us made an offer to appear before the State Capture Commission, but obviously it had limited time. So there are things that have not been interrogated and be heard. I believe that the establishment of inquiry, whether is the commission or if it doesn't pass the constitutional requirements, maybe the inquiries by Parliament or whichever body, we will be able to know the truth. The people who have got information will put that forward so that the information can be tested and a conclusion which is informed by evidence can be reached.
It sounds like you're painting a picture for us of a lot of issues within crime intelligence. Hopefully there can be some sort of a commission beyond this one, because many are complaining that perhaps the scope of this specific commission mustn't be expanded purely to allow for this truncated timeline to get to the bottom of the issues now, confine itself to just these issues, but you most certainly raise points with a broader inquiry. But Lieutenant General, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon and just sharing with us at least insight as to what would have been your role in that specific matter that General Nhlanhla Mkwanazi had spoken about when they were attempting to effect that arrest. Thank you yet again for your indulgence.